Our first story tonight comes from r/tifu. 6 months ago, I cleaned out my cat's automatic feeder and stashed it away in a cabinet. Unbeknownst to me, I had recorded a custom message on the feeder, which playfully spoke insults at 6 a.m. every morning, since I didn't know the food was set to self-dispense again after I switched cat brands 6 months prior. My neighbor recently adopted a cat, and when she heard my voice coming from her baby monitor, she assumed it was someone else speaking through it. She took a few mornings to investigate and found me responsible for the sounds coming from the feeder instead. With it sitting in her living room at precisely 6 a.m. each day, she had quite the story to tell me about her mysterious morning experiences. Up next, as a nursing student in the Netherlands, I once took care of an elderly woman who had a black English man sitting next to her and another lady across from her. While checking her IV pump and chatting, she pointed next to me and said, "The black one was out for a bit." I immediately corrected her by explaining we don't talk about people like that. Confused, she clarified that she meant the charging cable had come loose on the patient's side. I ended up embarrassing myself, blushing bright red as they laughed at my mistake. Moving on to our next story. In high school, David and I shared a connection through his name, or so I thought. As an avid comic book fan, my brain leaped to associate David Barnes with Bucky Barnes, known as the Winter Soldier from the Captain America saga. Unaware of any confusion, it was friendly nickname all 4 years. "Hey Bucky, what's up Bucky?" David never protested or appeared upset by this appellation in the halls or classroom. It wasn't until graduation day the shock hit me like a ton of bricks. When I asked if he knew why I dubbed him the Winter Soldier, his deadpan expression revealed my error. "Yeah, because of my buck teeth." Turns out he thought I was mocking his physical trait this entire time. The realization left me with cringing remorse. For 4 years, I had unwittingly made the poor guy think he was under constant ridicule. His misunderstanding was clear, but mine about how my intentions were misread left a bitter aftertaste. This next one comes in from the same subreddit. Due to recent downsizing, I now manage 4 colleagues' jobs and am feeling overwhelmed. As part of my new responsibilities, I've taken over creating e-learning courses. One day, while testing the course's interactive names feature, I typed in asshole out of amusement. Thinking it'd only appear during testing, I shared my joke with a coworker. But to our surprise, whatever name we entered actually saved as the default greeting for future users. In frustration and laughter, we left asshole as the initial salutation. Unbeknownst to us, after a couple of endless revisions, we didn't erase the field. Thus, the course started calling every one of my 750 coworkers an annoying name. As soon as I published the course and emailed everyone their individual links, chaos erupted. Superiors immediately sent me panicked screenshots asking what was going on. Our learning management system doesn't allow for deleting a course, only replacing it with a new file, but to our annoyance, when uploaded, my quick fix doubled the original file size. By the time I realized and tried to recall the email, it was too late. A wave of panicked text messages started flooding in. "Tomorrow, the director will contact me about this mishap. Here's hoping for composure then." Up next. As a 17-year-old female lifeguard, I work at an outdoor pool during a heat wave, and I also give piano lessons part-time. Yesterday, after just 5 hours of sleep, my fatigue reached its peak when I embarked on a 9-hour shift at the pool from noon to 9 p.m. Not only was I mentally drained, but so were my exhausted coworkers who shared in the sweltering heat. As the day ended, we prepared to close the Albert Cross Schoolie pool and utilized our PA system for an announcement. Boldly, I stepped up to deliver a message to pool goers. "Attention Albert Cross Poolie School swimmers." Oops. The wording was all wrong. Laughter erupted from my colleagues as they realized my blunder. In my delirium, I could only laugh along with them before stumbling over a quick recovery. Thankfully, one of my coworkers seized the mic to make the proper announcement, leaving me laughing and embarrassed for the next 30 seconds. Here's another one. On a Saturday night, I attended my friend's housewarming party to reconnect with old film friends. Everyone was catching up while enjoying the celebration. Unfortunately, I consumed too much alcohol and blacked out that evening. The following morning, finding myself in one of their bedrooms, I quietly left without disturbing my friends. Upon returning home, I texted an apology for any trouble that may have ensued during my blackout. My friend responded by phone, expressing concern over a series of incidents she recounted. Apparently, my drunken behavior included wandering naked around the apartment, causing disturbances and risking safety. This news stunned me. I considered my responsible drinking habits as someone on antidepressant medication. Not wanting to escalate tension, we agreed that further apologies would follow in due time. Since then, anxiety over the situation has consumed me. While waiting for closure, I turned to a few close confidants who wondered if any life problems or depression could have fueled such aberrant behavior. Alas, nothing specific was going on in my life at that point. Still, I wrestled with guilt and shame about not knowing what precisely I had done wrong. As I recount this ordeal now, anxiety from the unfortunate episode continues to weigh heavily on me. And finally, one more from r/tifu. A few days ago, my 10-year-old nephew stumbled upon me playing Halo Infinite. His curiosity piqued by Master Chief and the Covenant, he wanted to learn more about the game's fascinating story. After obtaining permission from his mom, I let him play in the living room under supervision. He enjoyed it immensely and peppered me with countless questions about Cortana and the narrative. When his mom asked what game to start if he sought more Halo adventures, I told her that Halo 4 was my initial introduction to the series. Unbeknownst to me, this choice led to an unexpected conversation when he asked why Cortana in Halo 4 appeared to be almost naked. The AI character wore a revealing blue bodysuit, which I tried to explain within the context of Bungie's creative choices. Although my defense was not convincing, it led to learning how a seemingly innocent recommendation can open up unforeseen dialogues.